Number 8 is see the outcome and manage backwards. I mean, that's the entire way I run my businesses. I like to tell my sales, all my people, create the future. Don't change the present. You want to grow a business 10%, 15%, take what you have and make it incrementally better. But you want to create a big success, take off all the obstacles. Create the future, don't just change the present. Also, there are lots of decisions we all have to make. And the difficulty in making decisions, I think, is a lot of times we're not clear on what the goal is. So my challenge to you is if you want to make a decision, be very clear. What goal, what's the outcome you want? You don't build a house a room at a time. You see the entire house, and then you build a room. If you want something to achieve something, look at the outcome, make it measurable, and work your way back. Also, how do you make decisions? What I have found for me is that once I know what the clear decision is, then I need to go back and say, okay, what's the criteria I'm going to use to make that decision? Many times people know a decision, but they don't know how to make how to evaluate it. So really take some time to hear the top 4 or 5 criteria I'm going to use and discipline yourself if the decision is important enough on how to use your criteria to make that decision. Number 9, which is really important, many of you are working already somewhere. Others might be looking for jobs in the future. But you're looking for a career. You don't want to go from job to job to job. And my suggestion you do is go out and find a CEO who has, and a company that has the type of values that you respect. I mean, because you live in that environment. Unfortunately, we spend more time with our coworkers than we do with our families usually. So go out and find a company that has the values. I know in my companies I have 5 values. First is to exceed customer expectation. Second is to live up to all commitments, which is really hard. And that means that if you make a commitment, you can renegotiate ahead of time. But even when I made a commitment, my daughter to be to a softball game or soccer game, that was a commitment I had to live to. She didn't care about what I had at work. But learn how to make commitments and live by them. Third is to be the best. Don't compare yourself to competition. Don't compare yourself to what happened in the past. Raise the bar on yourself. Don't make your boss raise your bar. Be the best you could possibly be. Number 4 is do the right thing. What that means is that I think we all have an internal mechanism that when we make a decision, we know right from wrong. Sometimes right is not best for us. So I implore everyone, do what's right for the company and everybody gets ahead. And the 5th, and I think the most important one, is treat everybody with care and respect. I'm no better than the guy who cleans the toilets, who drives the truck, things like that. You never know what's happening, but there's never an excuse to yell, be disrespectful, things like that. And finally, the 10th one is to find a passion. Life is too short. Life is great if you really enjoy what you're doing, so find a passion and follow it. My passion, other than my family, who's my absolute passion, poetry has become a passion for me. I started writing 30 years ago. I've written, and it's really given me the type of release for myself. We talked about balance, how hard it is to have balance in life. To me, that's really helped me to give me a balance. I left a book for you on the table to please take with you. That's my collection of Inner Peace and Happiness, Reflections of Grow Your Soul. I do have a website where you can read it. I actually recite it to you, and you can actually print it out if you want. So I thought tonight that I would recite one of my favorite poems to you, and it's called Eternal Happiness. We're talking about happiness. And it goes like this. Our lifetimes pass so swiftly in the search for what is real. It often takes another's heart to know what we can feel. And though love's bond with friendship is the strongest ever known, it's inner peace, life's eternal happiness, we all must discover on our own. For love that brings us happiness lines with strength, knowing we are sure. But what if we awake one day and that love remains no more? Our hearts will fill with loneliness and emptiness abound. We will have lost our happiness until another love is found. But a happiness with one's own true self, not an easy bond to make, allows our hearts to pour out love without the need to take. And then, if we be blessed with love, found only wished upon a star, do we first begin our journey in search for who we really are. So if we find everlasting love, the one fate has meant to be, together we will inspire him to set our spirits free. But if it's just another love to teach us how to care, we each will have our own inner peace and happiness to love to share. So I'd like to you take that with you. And in closing, I want to let you know that both life and happiness and success is really all about leadership. It's really about leadership of the self. That's all we can do. We lead ourselves and other people follow. So we need to be the best we can do. We need to treat other people. We need to share love as best we can. But really, we got to challenge ourselves and not be afraid to fall down, not be worried what other people think. Our son was born. And the night he was born in 1987, I went home. My wife and son were still at the hospital, and I just had to write. And so I wrote, it was called My Newborn Son. And there's a stanza in there, and I wish this for him, but I wish this for all you and for all children. And it says, you are a leader, compassionate and strong. Trust your own instincts, and you will never go wrong. Because when you don't worry what others believe, no limits exist to what you can achieve. So thank you very much. I think we'll have a little time for questions and answers.